Discipline yourself to do what you know is right and important, even though it's difficult, for this is the path to pride, self-respect, and personal satisfaction. Margaret Thatcher. Discipline is not a rigid compulsion or a denial of freedom, but a quiet commitment between you and yourself. It's the moment you choose to get up and work when procrastination beckons, to keep pushing forward when the road ahead is rough and exhausting. Doing what's right and important is often not easy, as it requires sacrificing immediate comforts, overcoming laziness, and resisting short-term temptations. But it is in those difficult choices that a person's character and values are forged. Discipline is like a patient blacksmith, each day gently hammering the rough steel of habits, gradually shaping it into the sharp blade of resilience. When you persistently do what you know is right, even if no one sees or praises you, a quiet sense of pride will grow within. Self-respect doesn't come from others' recognition, but from being able to hold your head high before yourself, knowing you haven't betrayed your core values. Personal satisfaction thus carries a special depth. It's not noisy or showy, but enduring and warm. The right path is rarely the easy one, but it's always the one worth taking. Each disciplined action today is a brick building a better version of yourself tomorrow. And when you look back, you'll realize that those quiet efforts have led you to a more stable, confident, and fulfilling life from within. Don't find fault, find a remedy. Henry Ford. In life, when a problem arises, the natural reaction of many is to figure out who's wrong, what's wrong, and why things didn't go as expected. Finding fault sometimes gives a temporary sense that you've understood the issue, but it rarely makes things better. On the contrary, it easily creates tension, division, and traps people in the past. Finding a remedy is a completely different attitude. It's looking forward, focusing on what can be done instead of what has happened. It's like when a boat encounters big waves. A wise rower won't stand there blaming the wind or water, but quickly adjusts the helm to maintain balance and continue the journey. When you choose to seek solutions, the negative energy of judgment is transformed into motivation for action. Instead of asking who's wrong, ask, what can I do now to make it better? Opening up opportunities to learn, improve, and grow. It also nurtures a sense of responsibility, because remedying isn't necessarily about taking the blame, but daring to actively contribute to the fix. People feel lighter, less trapped in criticism and disappointment. When focusing on solutions, you not only resolve the current issue, but also train yourself in a more flexible, calm, and effective mindset for challenges. Gradually, you realize that mistakes are no longer something to fear or hide, but material for self-improvement. That shift from finding fault to finding a remedy makes life healthier, relationships more harmonious, and people stronger and more mature from within. The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits. Albert Einstein. It is the awareness of one's own limits that is the clearest sign of intelligence. Genius isn't someone who knows everything, but someone who understands very clearly where their knowledge begins and ends. That understanding creates a sober boundary, helping them to keep learning, listening, and adjusting themselves. Conversely, stupidity doesn't lie in lacking knowledge, but in the boundlessness of the ego. When people believe they're right in every situation, that they understand everything and don't need to doubt themselves. A mind that doesn't acknowledge limits is like a jar already full of illusions, with no room for new knowledge to flow in. Genius, on the other hand, is like a river that knows its banks, allowing the water to flow with direction, depth, and power. Recognizing limits doesn't make a person smaller. On the contrary, it opens up endless potential for growth. It helps us be cautious in decisions, humble in success, and calm in failure. True intelligence isn't the display of knowledge, but the ability for self-awareness. When you know to stop at the right time, to say, "I don't know yet," you're taking the first steps on the path of wisdom, and that conscious limitation becomes the solid foundation for people to reach farther, deeper, and more mature in both thought and character. The essence of strategy is choosing what not to do. Michael Porter. In a world full of opportunities, choices, and invitations, people often mistakenly think that strategy is doing as much as possible, seizing as much as you can. But in reality, the power of strategy doesn't lie in spreading thin, but in the ability to refuse soberly. Knowing what not to do is just as important, if not more so, than knowing what to do. It's like holding a compass at a crossroads. It's not wise to take every path, but to be calm enough to bypass alluring roads that don't lead to the destination. Each not-to-do decision is an act of protecting people's most precious resources: time, energy, and focus. Without a clear strategy, we easily get swept up in things that seem necessary, but actually just distract, exhaust, and pull us away from core goals. Conversely, a good strategy helps us see clearly what the real priorities are, what is appealing but not aligned with the long-term direction. This requires courage, because refusing is sometimes harder than choosing, especially when it means passing up immediate opportunities or going against the crowd. But it's that discipline in not doing that creates space for important things to be done fully, freeing people from the pressure to do everything, to chase after all. Clarity and focus are the foundation of sustainable success. When you understand this essence, you no longer feel confused by too many choices, but calmly select, devoting your energy to what truly matters. And in those quiet choices of what not to do, your path becomes clearer, steadier, and more profound. When you have a dream, you've got to grab it and never let go. Burnett. A dream is like a small spark lit in the dark night, fragile at first, easily blown out by the wind. But if sheltered and nurtured, it can become a torch lighting the way. Grabbing a dream doesn't mean blindly chasing illusions, but keeping your heart on a direction, your mind on an anchor amid countless choices and turns. On that journey, there will be days when you're tired, doubting yourself, even wanting to let go because reality is too harsh. But it's at those moments that the dream becomes an invisible thread pulling you up, reminding you why you started. Never letting go doesn't mean stubbornness, but perseverance that knows how to adjust, to slow down when needed, but not to turn away from your core aspiration. A dream is like a seed sown in the soil. It may take a long time to sprout, enduring erratic rain and sun, but if you patiently care for it, the day it breaks through the ground will bring deep joy and fulfillment. It encourages people to believe in the value of dreams, to believe that each small step today has meaning, and that life becomes more complete when you dare to live true to what you desire. When holding tight to a dream, you're not just pursuing a goal, but also preserving faith in yourself. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change their future by merely changing their attitude. Oprah Winfrey. The same circumstances, but when the lens changes, the colors of life shift too. Many believe the future is determined by circumstances, background, or luck. But this great discovery points out that the most decisive thing lies in how we respond to what happens. When a negative attitude dominates, difficulties become burdens, failures turn into dead ends. Conversely, with a positive and proactive attitude, those same challenges transform into lessons, steps leading upward. Changing attitude isn't denying reality or lulling yourself with illusions, but choosing a perspective that gives you more strength to act. It's like turning the boat's bow. The current remains the same, the wind the same, but the direction changes, and so does the destination. When people learn to control their thoughts, maintain optimism, perseverance, and responsibility, They start creating a new future from small daily decisions. We are not entirely powerless before fate. Though we can't control every event, we always have the right to choose our attitude, and that choice quietly shapes the path ahead. Changing attitude, in the end, is changing how we live. And from there, the future gradually changes too. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. Robert Louis Stevenson. People move away from the habit of only looking at immediate results to cherishing the quiet efforts happening each day. Life is like a vast field where not every seed planted today will sprout immediately. Some seeds need a long time lying dormant in the soil, enduring rain and sun, darkness, and even the sower's doubts, before they're ready to grow green. If we only focus on counting the sweet fruits harvested each day, we'll easily get disappointed, discouraged, and forget that all lasting achievements start from small, persistent, and often very quiet things. Judging a day by the seeds planted means learning to value each positive action, a serious hour of study, an effort to improve oneself, a good thought, or a kind deed for others. Those things may not bring clear success yet, but they're quietly building the foundation for the future. Like a farmer who knows a heavy-laden field isn't the result of one day's work, but the fruit of an entire persistent care process, people also need patience with their own journey, freeing us from the pressure to succeed now, allowing us to live slower, deeper, and with more faith in the value of each day. When we know that every seed we plant today has meaning, we'll live more purposefully, lighter, and confident that the harvest will come at the right time, in the right way. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Lou Retton. Optimism isn't just how we smile at life, but an inner energy quietly emanating, influencing how the world responds to us. An optimistic person is like morning sunlight, not loud, not flashy, but warm enough to melt the fog and awaken life. When we keep our minds focused on the positive, we start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles, hope instead of dead ends. That perspective makes words gentler, actions more open, and our presence a comfortable space for others. Good people often seek out places where they feel understood and inspired, while good things arise from an attitude ready to receive and trust. Optimism doesn't mean denying sadness or difficulties, but choosing not to let them define your entire life. It's like a compass on the open sea. Storms are still there, but the direction is clearer. When we persistently nurture optimism, we gradually create a positive cycle where faith breeds action, action leads to results, and results reinforce faith. Happiness isn't something distant, but starts from how we choose our attitude each day. When we become a magnet for positivity, life gradually responds with warm people and good things, like a natural and meaningful resonance. If you want to make a permanent change, stop focusing on the size of your problems and start focusing on the size of you. In life, people are often overwhelmed by the magnitude of problems. Too many difficulties, goals too far, circumstances too complex. When only fixating on the size of the problem, we easily fall into helplessness, like standing before a mountain so high that we want to turn back before even starting. The message of this quote doesn't deny the greatness of challenges, but reminds us to shift focus to where we truly have control, ourselves. The size of you isn't a sad smallness, but the most honest and solid starting point. A lasting change rarely comes from grand actions right away, but often starts from small steps suited to current abilities. A good habit maintained, a positive thought nurtured, a right action repeated daily. Like water eroding stone, the power isn't in a strong impact, but in quiet persistence. When we focus on what we can do today, instead of worrying about the whole journey, change becomes feasible and lighter. Each small step forward helps us grow, and as the size of you expands, problems that once scared us gradually become manageable, returning to people a sense of initiative and hope. We don't need to be strong from the start, don't need to solve everything at once. We just need to begin from where we stand, with what we have. And it's the consistency in those small changes that is the strongest foundation for a lasting and meaningful transformation. Care more for your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. John Wooden. Your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are, touches on a core value often forgotten in modern life. Reputation is like a person's shadow, reflected under society's gaze. It can lengthen, shorten, even distort, depending on the angle of public opinion. Meanwhile, character is the root, quiet but firm, determining who we are when there's no stage light, no praise or judgment. Caring for character means tending to inner values: honesty when no one checks, kindness when no one witnesses, and responsibility when no one demands. Reputation can come quickly and easily lost, as it depends on perceptions, expectations, and changes in others' thoughts. But character is different. It's built day by day through small choices, through how we treat those around us and ourselves. Like a house, reputation is the outer paint that can be beautiful or ugly over time, while character is the foundation deciding if that house stands firm against wind and rain. When people chase reputation too much, they easily trade truth for image, values for recognition. Conversely, when placing character at the center, they find a profound sense of peace because they don't need to strain to become the version others expect. Where value lies not in external praise or blame, but in inner self-respect. When character is solid, good reputation, if it comes, will be a natural consequence. And if reputation isn't as desired, we can still hold our head high, knowing we've lived right. It's character, not reputation, that endures and defines a person most completely. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. Albert Einstein. Not indifference to tomorrow, nor a carefree way of living, but a profound view of the relationship between people and time. The future, after all, is something that can't be postponed or avoided. No matter how much we worry, calculate, or fear, it still quietly advances. When too absorbed in thinking about the future, people easily lose the present, the only moment we can truly live, feel, and act. A gentle reminder: instead of expending energy on scenarios that haven't happened, devote your mind to the present, because the present is the quiet foundation shaping that future. Like a gardener who doesn't stand forever worrying about a distant harvest, but focuses on caring for each plant today, people also need to live fully with what's happening. When we do well in the present, the future will come as a natural consequence without forcing or fearing. The quote also carries a serene shade of wisdom, understanding that the future is certain to come, so no need for panic, no need for obsession. That serenity helps people live lighter, deeper, and truer, not stretched between predictions and concerns, freeing us from the pressure to control everything ahead, encouraging trust in life's flow and in our own current efforts. When living fully in today, we're not escaping the future, but quietly preparing for it in the most natural and sustainable way.